Welcome, everybody. How nice to be inside, nice and warm in this space today. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Joe, as Lisa said. I own a little yoga studio down in Oregon, Wisconsin. Taught group fitness, Pilates, and yoga for about 25 years, but never in Monona Terrace. So this is so fun to be here. Today, we're going to be mostly on our mats. We're going to be mostly down on the mat. We'll stand up only for like a short balance, and mostly we'll be either, okay, I'll just straight up tell you, we're going to do a bunch of planks today. Don't worry. Yes, we're going to do a lot of planks in different positions with lots of modifications. There will be something for everyone. And it's always fine to come back to a cat-cow or to a spinal balance. Those are excellent exercises as well. Yeah, so we'll just get started. Listen to your body. Know that you are more than welcome to modify as needed. At home, if you have a chair and you're starting out sitting in a chair, that's totally fine. Standing up with the chair or the wall for the balance, yeah, it's good stuff. So let's start just sitting cross-legged if that's comfortable. And you can face me. We've got our mats going this way so that we can just look sideways to see each other. And sit up nice and tall. Start to feel the parts of your body that are in contact with the floor. Just notice how that feels, nice and stable, safe. And let your breath flow naturally. And if it feels good to you to shut your eyes, go ahead and do that. And do a little check-in from the top of your head to the bottoms of your feet. Just noticing how it feels to be you in your unique body today. Notice any sensations, perhaps the beating of your heart, a rumbly tummy, a little tickle on the skin. And then start to tune into your breath, noticing how you're breathing today. Notice if you're breathing more into your upper chest or more down toward your belly. Notice the rhythm of your breath. And then on your next exhale, gently drop your chin down toward your chest. You can keep your eyes shut if that feels good. And inhale just back to neutral. And do that a few times, down and up. And then the next time your head comes up, go gently right and left. Noticing any differences side to side, noticing any tight spots or places where you move easily. Good. And then let your chin slide back and forth down across your chest as if you were drawing a smiley face right in front of your body. That big smile side to side. Good. And then come on back to center. Take both shoulders and move them forward. And I always start forward because I find this harder than going backwards. So I like to do the hard thing first. Good. And then move one and then the other as if you were swimming, crawl stroke. Notice any movement all the way down to your hips. And then gently reverse that. Go backwards. Notice if that feels more or less natural than going forward. Just notice. It doesn't matter. Good. And then circle both back. Good. This time, let your shoulder blades drop down your back. Draw your spine up tall. Float both arms up to the sky. A big inhale. We're going to twist gently over to the right. And then inhale up and reverse that. Keep that going at your own pace, letting your body be patient with your breath. Use your entire inhale up and exhale down. Good. Maybe one more each side. And then for something different, inhale both arms up. This time, spread your fingers really nice and wide. Give those arms some effort. Squeeze them down to your sides, feeling your shoulder blades squeeze together. And inhale up. Let's do two more. Squeeze the air out. Inhale up. And squeeze the air out. Good. Take your legs, if you're sitting cross-legged, and see what it would be like to switch. And if it's icky, go back, do something else. Bring your right hand to the side, just fingertips to the floor. Take your left hand straight up in the air. We're going to keep both sides of our body long as we reach up and over. Good. We'll come all the way back up. Bring your right hand across to your left knee. Give yourself a little twist on this side. And then we'll come back to center. Take your left fingertips to the floor, right hand right up to the sky. And keep both sides of your body long as you reach over. Good. And we'll come all the way back up. Add a little twist. And then come on back to center for a little Pilates. Take your feet out wide. Sit up as tall as you can. We're going to take both arms to the sides. And then we're going to cross one over the other. And then staying up nice and tall, turn yourself to the left, 3 little pulses. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the side. Inhale back to center. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Let's do one more each side. Good. Come on back to center. Take both arms out long. Inhale, bring your right hand across. Reach toward your left little toe. And inhale back up. We're going to hit that center place. Same thing, other side. A little reach. Inhale back up to center. One more each side. It doesn't have to be far. Yeah, nice. And come on back up to center. And just shake it out. Let's bring hands together like this and circle your wrists. Since we will be doing possibly a few things on our wrists, always an option to go to elbows, circle them both ways. And then come on over. It doesn't matter which way you go, but come on over to a nice cat cow. We're going to set up hands right underneath shoulders, fingers spread wide, a little bitty bend in the elbows, and start a tiny cat and a tiny cow. Yeah. And if it feels nice, exhale up to cat. Maybe get a little extra stretch between your shoulder blades. Inhale through cow and look up. And do that a couple more times. And then take a couple seconds here to just notice how your back would like to move. Maybe you need a little stretch more in one hip than the other. Maybe it feels good to sit all the way back to child's pose. So just notice how your body would like to move. And then come on back to center. Find a nice neutral spine, keeping your head in line. Take your right leg behind you. Float it up just hip height, no farther. See if you can keep your toes pointing down. Leg might want to turn out. See if you can keep that from happening. Turning the toes down, add your opposite arm. And breathe into this. Yeah, and just picking it up and just testing the balance close to the floor is completely fine. If this feels really good to you, bring your elbow and your knee together and reach your arm and leg out to the sides. If it's plenty of challenge right where it is, stay there. Good. And we'll drop it back down. Bring your hand back to the floor. Step your right leg across your left leg. Have a look back at your toes. Good. And we'll bring it back to center. Same thing other side. So left leg out, toes are down to the mat. We're going to try to keep them pointing down, ankle flexed as we lift that leg up. Fire up the muscles. Add your opposite arm. I see some people on elbows. That's excellent. Good modification. And hold there. And if you like that other option, bring elbow to knee and reach them out to the sides. Good. And bring them back down. Take that left leg back, step it over your right leg, have a look back at it. And then come on back to center. Let's sit back into a child's pose or something like it. Totally fine to leave the hips lifted or to bring them back towards your hips. And then rock yourself forward. Here's our first plank. Rock yourself into a knee plank. Rock it back into child's pose. Let's do one more like that. Rocking forward and rocking back. Good. This time, rock forward. Come all the way down to your belly. And bring your hands to the sides. Minimal effort on the hands. Lift your upper body. So almost so tiny you could lift your hands up. And exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more like that. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Option to bring the hands back, palms up, lift the legs, lift the upper body. Full locust. Hold here. Really working that back body. And then take a rest. Bring your hands under your forehead. Just let those muscles go. And then reach your hands forward. And a couple options here. Lifting opposite arm and leg, just up and down at your own pace. You could hold them up a while, or you could just alternate back and forth. Or you could come up to a Pilates swim and flutter your arms and legs. If you're doing that, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more. Inhale and exhale. Good. Rest again, forehead to hands. While we're here, pull your lower abdomen a tiny bit away from the floor, and then think of lifting it towards your rib cage. Really tiny, really subtle. Keep that and come to all fours. All right, we're going to move into our first elbow plank of the day, our first plank of the day, big plank. You could come down to elbows and knees, keeping the hips lifted. You could come up to elbows and toes. And we're trying to keep that engagement of the lower abs a little bit in and a little bit up. Can you stay 2 breaths? Good. Drop those knees back. Come on up and walk yourself back to child's pose. Good. And remembering that our other option is right here in spinal balance. Let's go back. So you could hang out here in spinal balance. You could come to that elbow plank, or you could come into a straight arm plank. Your choice. Yogi's choice today. Yeah. And if you're liking this full straight arm plank, maybe lift a right leg and then drop it back to the mat. And then a left leg and drop it back to the mat. Maybe one more each side. Good. And find yourself a child's pose. Find a way to let your arms rest. Maybe bring them in towards your forehead or back by your sides. And breathe into your back. Imagine each space between your vertebrae lighting up every time you inhale. And then walk yourself back to all fours. Let's move a little bit and then we'll get off of our wrists. So turn toes under, send your hips back, rock yourself forward, lift your hips. Let's go into downward dog, but a real nice, soft, comfortable dog. Inhale, knees back to mat. Yep, nice. Exhale, reaching back. Inhale forward. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, knees back to the mat. One more. Exhale, back. Inhale forward. Exhale, down dog. This time, let your legs walk a few times. Let your hips shift a little side to side. And then gently walk your hands to your feet. Take your time. We're going to come up slow. We've been upside down for a little bit. Let your knees bend a lot. Hands to thighs. Roll yourself up real slow, one vertebrae at a time. And shoulders back. Good. And then go ahead and face forward so that you can see. Let's take both arms up. Exhale, hands, heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, hands, heart center, and forward fold. Yeah, hands to shins. Inhale, half lift. Here's the thing, keep your knees bent. Lift your tailbone. Exhale, release that, hands to thighs, roll yourself up. Inhale up. Exhale, hands, heart center. Fold forward just from your hips without letting your head drop down. Nice. Good, and then all the way over. Hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. And bring hands, heart center. Take your feet out wide. Okay, we're gonna warm up our legs a little bit first, just by inhaling up and exhaling down. It can be a really shallow squat. It could be a really big squat, but either way, keep your knees going out the same direction as your toes. They might want to tip in. Make sure they're staying wide. Inhale up. Good, 2 more like that. All right, here's where the effort comes in. Sink it down as far as feels good to you. There's always an option to take it right back up. Come to the toes on the right side, toes on the left side. We're just going to walk here. Just going for a little walk. Good. Some options. Let's go all the way up again. Just shake it out. Good. We're going to take it down, possibly to a balance. Sink it down strong, as if you're pulling a rope down, you're sinking yourself down into the ground, right? Those feet are rooted. Come up on your toes on your right side and on your left side. Keep that going, or come up on toes on both sides and hold. Two more breaths. Beautiful. Let those heels drop. Inhale all the way up. And bring your hands to your thighs. Take your left shoulder across and then your right shoulder across. Good. One more each side. And come on back to center. Heel toe yourself in. For our brains, bring your fingertips to your shoulders, please. And know that if any of this bothers your shoulders, just watch and imagine it instead. Take your left arm forward. Yeah, and allow your body to move to encourage that shoulder to move. Good. Stop that side. Take your other shoulder, rotate it back. Good. All right. Let's see if we can put those together. Right's going to go forward, left's going to go back. Is it working? I'm hearing, I think so, but I don't want to think about it. I hear you. See if you can switch it if you think that's happening. And if it isn't, it doesn't matter, right? We're just being nice and mobile in our shoulders. Shake it out a little bit. If it bothers you to do big circles with your arms, stick with that little circle or even drop it down smaller, one shoulder and then the other. Otherwise, let's play with this a little bit. Take both arms up if that's available today. Take your right forward and circle it a few times. Good. Take your left and circle back like a backstroke. See where we're going, right? Let's see if we can do both together. Right goes forward, left goes back. Did it work? Is there one arm that follows the other arm? Yeah. And if it's working beautifully for you, a little more challenge, switch and go the other way. And if you find yourself just doing front crawl or backstroke, that's fine too. It's just about the mobility, right? Just shake it all out here. All right. Okay. Come on down, back to the mat. We're just nothing fancy, just come on down. We're gonna come into some side body work, side plank, okay? And our first option, if you're facing me, is to take right hand to the floor, right knee, right hand, right foot. Here's our modified side plank right here. Nice. So here's our option one. Option two is to float that leg up, keep everything nice and stable, hug in on that belly, on that core, on those core muscles. Good. right. Option 2, we can come down to an elbow and legs. Yeah, and feet can be split, definitely. Feet could be split, feet could be stacked. Nice. And then gently drop it down to the floor. Let's go to the other side. Same thing on this side. Our option. And maybe floating the leg or keeping it down. Good. And drop it down. And then if you like the elbow plank on the other side, try that, pressing up. Good. Yeah. And then drop it down and shake it out a little bit. Okay. Come on up and sit pinwheel with left leg forward, right leg back. This is a modified mermaid. It's just a nice stretch. If you take your right hand, so right knee's in front. And we're going to take the hand that's in front. Yep. Your right leg. My left, I'm mirroring you. Yeah. So if you switch sides. And it doesn't matter as long as it's just easier to follow if we're all start so that we're seeing the same thing. Take your hand, put it in front, slide it out, hold on to that back ankle and just slide it out for a nice stretch. And then slide it all the way back up. Take that same hand to the sky, a little side stretch. That hand that's up is going to come down. We'll take the other one up and over. Do a little push-up, a little hip stretch. And we'll come all the way back up. Good. Same thing, other side. So we'll set up, holding on to the back ankle. The front is at the knee. Let that hand slide forward, just as far as feels good. It's just a stretch. And we'll slide it back up. Take that hand up and over. And then it comes to the mat. The other one cartwheels over. And we get a little push up here. Yeah. Nice and good modifications. And then come all the way up. All right. One more plank. This one's on our backs. So our option 1 is to sit tall, arms and back. Yep. Fingers spread wide, little bend in the elbows, and just lift the hips. Or lift them high, your choice. Option 2 is to stretch the feet out. Yeah, right. And I'm going right back into my tabletop. And then let's sit out of this. For our wrists and hands now, because we spent some time on them. Take your first finger. I know those of you in back, you're gonna have to listen carefully. First finger, we're gonna roll the fingers down our legs. So pressing that finger down into the leg and then just let the knuckles roll. If you have any arthritis or pain in your hands, go easy. Otherwise, this is a pretty strong finger. You can give it a little pressure. And then take your second finger, same thing. We're going to just roll it. And then the ring finger. It's not so strong, so go easy on it. And the pinky finger, not strong at all, go easy on it. And then the thumb. Thumbs are pretty strong, but if there's any pain, go easy on the thumb too. All right, bring your hands up in front. Imagine that you're hanging onto a cliff on a little bitty edge. So fingers are squeezed in, just the tips of the fingers are holding us up there on the edge. And hold that. And then release it. And then make fists, squeeze. And release it. And then fold your hand. Yeah, so fingers are just straight and they're pointing down. And release that. Good. Take your hands out to the sides. Touch your thumb to your index finger, second finger, third finger, little finger, first finger, little finger, ring finger, middle finger, little finger, first finger, ring finger. You get the idea. Just, and then shake it out. Yeah. Bring your hands together and circle your wrists. Bring your hands into prayer. Open them like a book, but we're going to put the back covers together and then turn them down. Yeah. Yeah. And we'll circle them back up. Close them up. One more time. Open like a book all the way back. Turn them down. And bring them back. And close that book. Piano fingers. Shaking it out. Nice. All right. Circle your shoulders back a couple times. Coming back to a little core work. Sit long ways on the mat. We'll sit up really nice and tall first. Reach your arms out in front. And just take yourself back to that place that's hard to hold. Just notice it. Inhale up. One more time, take yourself back to that place that's hard to hold. Notice if there's anything behind you, because eventually we'll go back to the mat. Inhale all the way back up. Walk yourself to the front of the mat. There you go. And we'll inhale up, take it back to that place that's hard to hold. This time, take a big breath in. On your exhale, lower yourself back to the mat. And reach those arms up overhead, one big stretch. Good. Let your knees bend. Come on up, hands behind the head. Take your right elbow to your right knee. And I didn't make a mistake. It's right elbow to right knee. Left elbow to left knee. Right to right knee. Left to left knee. Yeah. And you could do it with your feet on the floor, picking them up, or with both feet lifted. And if it bothers your back, maybe take your legs a little higher, so it's not quite so intense on the back. Let's do 8 more. 8, exhale, exhale, 6, 5, 3, 2, and 1. Good, drop it back, turn your head side to side. We'll come up for one more. And I don't think we did this one last week. We're gonna take one leg in the air, one leg to the floor. The bottom leg gets 2 little pulses, and then we switch. Pilates scissors. If your neck gets tired, please put your head down. If you want the challenge to keep your head up, go ahead and do that. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Drop those heads down. Drop your feet down and roll yourself up into a bridge. One vertebrae at a time, all the way up as far as feels good to you, keeping the knees relatively close. Exhale down, one vertebrae at a time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. One more. Inhale up. And exhale down. Good. Bring your right leg over your left leg, cross leg, kind of the ankle crossed over the thigh, and draw your left leg in towards your chest. Good. Take your left leg long, right leg to the sky. Into the hamstrings one more time. Let your right leg bend, foot to the left knee. Bring your left hand across to the right knee and just give it a little gentle pull to the side. So we're coming into a twist, only go as far as feels good. You have control over this. Have a look over at your right hand if you like a little more from that twist. Good. And then we'll come on back to center. Take your left ankle over your right leg. Draw your right leg in close. And hold here. Just notice if this side feels different. Is one side a little tighter than the other? Does one side move into this a little easier than the other? Just noticing. Good. Take that left leg to the sky, right leg out. Right leg can be bent or straight. Let your left leg bend. Bring your right hand up to the knee. Gently draw it over to the side. And then bring that knee back to center. Drop both knees in. Give them a good squeeze here. I'm going to play with the core one last time today. We're going to make figure eights, side to side. So an infinity sign, if you prefer, side to side. We're going to make them with both knees together as if we were drawing that figure eight sideways on the ceiling. You might notice that one hip lifts and then the other hip lifts. You might notice you get a little low back massage out of this. Yeah, and you can do it holding onto them, or you can do it hands to the floor. See if you can switch direction. And then let that go. Let's stretch out long, fingertips to toes. Be as tall as you can. And then move your legs a little bit over to the left without turning on your side. We're staying flat on our backs. Bring your left arms a little, or your arms a little bit over to the left. So now we're kind of in this banana shape, right leg stretching. If you like a little more stretch, cross your right ankle over your left ankle. Yeah, so we're flat on our backs. Heads, necks don't have to do any work. It's just a stretch. And then gently walk arms and legs over to the other side. Nice stretch down the left side. And if it feels good, you can take your left leg over your right, knowing that it might be different on this side. And stay here for a few breaths. And then gently come back to center. Let your arms float over by your sides. You could let your knees bend or you could keep them straight. Maybe palms turn up. Notice all the parts of your body that are in contact with the floor. Nice and safe and stable. And then notice the parts of your body away from the floor, maybe the temperature of the air, a little breeze, the feeling of your clothing on your skin. And then turn your attention to your breath. Just feeling the belly rise and fall or the chest rise and fall. The air entering and leaving your body. And stay here 2 more breaths. And let your knees bend. Let them sway a little bit. And then turn on one side. And gently make your way to sitting. Let's take one breath together. Big inhale. May we dwell in safety. May we be happy and healthy. May we be at peace. Thank you for practicing with me today. Thanks to all of those online. We'll see you next week.